If Baldy in Chief sees his reflection, shadow, or what it be, does that mean 6 more weeks of winter for thee? Well, let's talk about it in this Thursday edition of the Texas Weather Roundup. Hello, it's a good day. It's Thursday, the 6th of February, 2025. I'm Texas Weather Center's Baldy-in-Chief David Reimer, and yes, you can see myself and I in the reflection in the magical super-duper glass thingy of doom, which clearly means I need to go Windex it, but we'll do that later after the video. For today, well, guess what? We have warm weather for most of the state, but not everyone, because we do have a shallow Arctic cold front making its presence known for some folks in the Panhandle and Texoma. Let's take a look at the high-res rapid refresh model going into this afternoon, tonight, and Friday. We do have another round of fog expected, really across the eastern two-thirds of the state tonight. The Panhandle, northwest Texas, the Big Country, northwest Texas, and Texoma. Some of this fog tonight is going to be dense, so plan on that as you go out into your Friday morning commute. Otherwise, maybe some isolated showers in the Golden Triangle Friday night. We're not expecting appreciable precipitation or any sort of significant crash of the cold front behavior outside of maybe a cooler air mass trying to settle into the eastern Panhandle, northwest Texas, and the immediate Red River vicinity of Texoma. We'll be able to show you that in greater detail here on the temperature map in a minute. Wildfire danger across the state. Today and Friday, we are anticipating high to very high fire danger. The Panhandle, West Texas, the Permian Basin, the Guadalupe Mountains, the Trans-Pecos, the Davis Mountains down to the Big Bend, the borderland of far west Texas. Then as we get into Saturday, that risk continues and expands into portions of northwest Texas, the Big Country, western North Texas, the Concho Valley, and portions of the Rio Grande Valley. So fire danger remains elevated over the next several days. Here's the long range American Weather Model, the global forecast system. As we go through the weekend, Saturday is looking pretty darn beautiful across the state. You can see hardly a cloud in the sky. We'll have mostly south winds, but things change going into Saturday night, Sunday, as a cold front begins to move south out of Oklahoma. This model indicating that front making it through the northern half of the state going into Sunday night. As we go into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we begin to enter a precipitous weather pattern with scattered showers, maybe a few storms at times. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, you can see the heaviest rains possible. Monday night, Tuesday morning, one wave moving across the eastern half of the state. We note maybe a little winter precipitation in the Panhandle, and then another system perhaps coming into Wednesday with more rain across the state, maybe a winter mix. Some snow showers in the Panhandle, maybe northwest Texas up into Oklahoma. And then for what it's worth, we may still remain somewhat precipitous going into Thursday and Friday of next week. It's just going to be wet next week, it looks like, especially the eastern half to the eastern two-thirds of the state. Maybe some winter precip up in the Panhandle. Not necessarily anything that screams major winter storm, but or severe weather in the sense of severe storms, I might add. But it does look to remain active. We're seeing a system, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe continuing into Thursday, and then another system next Saturday and Sunday we're already starting to keep an eye on for impactful weather potentially. Here's the forecast rain totals over the next 7 days across the continental United States. This runs through, well, at this point, next Thursday morning. You can see we are expecting a pretty wet pattern to set up across the eastern half of the state, the southeastern United States, the Tennessee Valley, up into the northeastern United States, the mid-Atlantic, Delmarva, up into Maine, Boston. The potential for a couple inches of rain across the southeastern United States. Some of this precip up in the northeast United States probably going to fall as snow. This is what the liquid equivalent would be after it melts. Next 5 to 7 days, mostly in the 5 to 7 day time frame. Again, pretty much from Sunday onward, the potential for maybe 1 to 2 inches of rain. Northeast Texas, East Texas, Southeast Texas, maybe a 1/4 inch to 3/4 of an inch of rain. Texoma, North Texas, Central Texas, the Hill Country, the Brazos Valley, with lighter amounts across the western half of the state. On the west coast of the United States, you could see more atmospheric rivers saying hello to California, Oregon, parts of Washington, mountain snows that'll be measured in feet. Quite a bit of a snowpack being built up there in the higher elevations of eastern California. And then some mountain snows across the higher terrain of Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, up into Idaho. No big snows for us, though, probably. Knock on wood. Here's today's high temperature forecast from the National Weather Service. You can see that shallow cold front keeping temperatures cool across most of Oklahoma. Central Oklahoma, northwestern Oklahoma, highs only in the 40s. 50s northeastern Texas Panhandle. Southeastern Oklahoma into a good chunk of Texas today. Highs 60s, 70s. Check out most of Texas, though. We're looking at 80s and, yes, even low 90s down in the Rio Grande Plain, South Texas, into parts of the Hill Country, the Concho Valley, the Permian Basin, upper 80s. It's going to be hot for early February, and if you think that's something, here's tomorrow. The 90s come out to play in the Permian Basin, the Rio Grande Plains, the Big Bend, down into deep South Texas. Most of the state otherwise in the 70s to 80s. Warm weather continues, a pretty nice way to end the work week. Going into Saturday, now this is when we start to see some changes, but first we're going to see compressional heating ahead of a strong cold front. This is probably going to be the warmest day of the next, well, extended period, honestly. Highs mostly in the 90s. Big Country, Concho Valley, Hill Country, Central Texas, South Central Texas, the Concho Valley, into the Permian Basin, the Big Bend, highs low 90s, mid to upper 90s maybe, in the Rio Grande Plains, Laredo Del Rio, Southern Big Bend, wouldn't shock me, 79 El Paso, 78 Lubbock, 65 Amarillo, about 88 in DFW, 90 Mineral Wells to Granbury to Stephenville, Brownwood, 90 in Austin, 91 in San Antonio, 84 in Houston, and Longview, 83 Tyler and Texarkana, 79 Beaumont. Going into Sunday, you can see Crashy the cold front coming on to play. How about this for a temperature contrast? 40 degrees if we're lucky Sunday afternoon in Perryton up in the northern Panhandle. How about probably 94 to 95 in Laredo? That's only about a 60 to 70 degree contrast, but who's counting, right? Yeah. 80 El Paso and Houston, 85 San Antonio, 80 Austin, 60 DFW, and that'll probably be during the morning hours before temperatures fall into the 40s. 40s in the Panhandle, 50s West Texas, and everyone else, 60s, 70s, 80s before temperatures come falling on down. Here's Monday. You can see the northern half of Texas highs in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. Southern half of the state highs in the 70s and 80s. That colder air mass will continue to slowly filter south going into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week as we remain precipitous with decent chances for rain. Here's the Climate Prediction Center's long-range temperature weather outlook for February 11th through the 15th, so next week really. Northern half of the state, below average temperatures probable with that cooler air mass settling in. Southern half of the state, y'all may miss out on most of this cold front. We'll see. It looks like the cold front may just stall out and bisect the state, keeping the northern half of Texas in winter, southern half of Texas in spring. We'll see. If so, hey, we'll just pretend we can all relocate to our favorite seasons, right? But here's something we don't get to show too often. How about this? The entire country, for all intent and purposes, above average precipitation chances next week. Interesting, right? We'll see. There's probably going to be quite a bit of winter mischief across parts of the United States, and perhaps we'll be kicking off the severe weather season as well across portions of the southern and southeastern United States. We'll just have to wait and see. But that is a problem for next week. For today, though, again, pretty nice weather for most of the state. Fog tonight, though, across a decent portion. Dense fog possible. And as my reflection and I would like to say, thank you for joining us in this Thursday edition of the Texas Weather Roundup. As always, you can get your latest local weather forecast, interactive weather radar, daily Texas Weather Roundup, and more in the free Texas Storm Chasers mobile app. Just search for Texas Storm Chasers or you download apps to your device. And of course, you can watch us here on the Texas Weather Center YouTube channel, where we appreciate everybody who tunes in for your daily dose of baldyisms. On behalf of my cup, whatever you want to call it, of caffeine, and y'all have a great Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow for the Friday edition of the Texas Weather Roundup. Have a great day, and as always, God bless.